All right, good evening, everybody. I would like to call the Blair Township Board of Trustees regular meeting of May 11th, 2021 to order. Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome.
Zeitz is absent. Wolfgang here. Bonshine.
Here.
Fitzpatrick.
Here.
Fleece. Campbell.
Here.
And Kuchera.
Here.
Brief public input. Is everybody here this evening? Approval of the agenda. I have an addition.
Public input.
There was no.
Oh.
I have an addition to the agenda. I put the information on everybody's seat. We will add item 15, which will be resolution 2021-07, to adopt and allocate funds for the outdoor fitness court as part of the 2021 National Fitness Campaign.
I would move to approve the agenda with the addition.
Support.
Been moved and supported to approve the agenda with the addition of item number 15. Roll call.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Campbell.
Yes.
Bonshine.
Yes.
Kuchera.
Yes.
Okay.
Wolfgang. Yes.
Declaration of conflict of interest. Hearing none. Presentation and special reports. Grand Traverse County Commissioner report. Hi, Ron.
The VA is getting a mobile service unit in this October. It's meant so that they can send personnel out. They're not going to add personnel. They're going to use who they have, but so that they can actually go out and help people remotely, so they don't have to come in to the VA office. And they may get an opportunity to work in other counties and get reimbursed for their services. That mobile service unit is going to be $148,500. They do have that in their fund right now, and the report we get, they're doing a very conservative job with their millage money that they get. So, animal control, there was no support for getting animal control on the November election. It would have been a special election. So the board agreed to continue to fund animal control through the general fund for this coming year. And then the prosecuting office is adding one more assistant prosecutor to get ramped up for when they have body cameras that they're going to have to go through and redact videos. So that's about the extent of what we had since the last meeting. Any questions? One thing I would like to just mention is that I guess we don't know if there's going to be a fair this year, or do we?
I heard the fair is on.
So, just a suggestion that I remember hearing that the community police officer spends a lot of time there. Maybe he could join the auction by a hog if people would donate to provide the funds for that. And then a barbecue come fall.
Out in the park?
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
so. if
Thanks,
It
George.
would be, fun, yeah, it would be,
Would.
you know, and I think it would, garner good support for our officers.
Mhm.
So, let me know where the fund gets started so I can donate.
I like that idea, Ron.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, Matt Karczewski, Sheriff's Office, Blair Township Community Police Officer. I have April 2021 report. Arrests, 1, still not arresting many people, and we're encouraged not to physically arrest people on active calls unless it's really necessary or an assault or something. But send a report to the prosecutor's office and they'll issue a warrant for them. So that's still going on. Citations, 8, complaints, 60, which is quite good. Traffic crashes, 6, warrants obtained, 2. I put the first thing on here is Menards and masks. It seems to be a huge uptick. I don't know if people are just started wearing masks, but huge uptick specifically at Menards. Hardly anywhere in the county do we get calls to kick people out because they refuse to put a mask on. And I went over this with the prosecutor's office because when I go there, some people are just trying to get attention. A lot of times they have somebody videotaping the interaction because they want something to happen. Nothing ever has, thankfully, but we had several calls just this weekend for this exact thing. But the prosecutor's office said they still, even if somebody says they have a medical exemption, they still have a right to refuse them because they can give them service like curbside. So they're not refusing service, they can get curbside service. And they said if somebody absolutely refuses to leave, they can be arrested for trespassing. Not arrested for not wearing masks. Vance Road on the 26th, I was called, there was a young lady had a terrible mental episode out on Vance Road and jumping in front of cars, and screaming at cars and hitting cars, and I arrived and she attacked my car, and she had a warrant, so I thought that would solve the problem. It was just a meaningless warrant, but it was one of those things where it solved the problem by taking her to jail and it was okay, so tried that, but it became super unsafe as I was driving, and I had to pull over to Culver's, and we had to get her out, and it was just not safe for me to transport her anymore. So Digger came, and he and I went in the ambulance and took her to Munson. And Digger did a great job, he always does. And he had a lot of verbal abuse that day. So, any questions?
It is National Police Officer Week, so thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
In Harris County Road. We still don't have a rep, but Jason Gilman's on it. I talked to him after the MTA meeting, and he was gonna talk to his board. I relayed the importance of what I felt having a commissioner here because we field a lot of questions, road questions, so staying updated on what county road is easier to answer the questions when they come in. Treasurer's report.
All right, we have general fund at $3,942,468. Public safety fund at $1,059,713. Ambulance fund at $901,547. Metro X fund at $4,435. Liquor law enforcement fund at $29,836. Sewer fund at $1,816,939. Water fund at $2,363,001. Current tax collection is $15,988. Payroll clearing is $65. Milfoil fund is $12,685 for a total of $10,146,676.23.
Any questions for Tracy? Announcements and correspondence.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I got it. Go ahead.
You all see that we won our grant award for the National Fitness Campaign Priority Health. That was a nationwide grant opportunity. I think they selected 7 in the nation, and we were one of them, which was our addition to item number 15 on the agenda was the resolution. They need a resolution from the board showing our commitment to this campaign. Thanks to everyone that participated in cleanup day. I haven't heard from American Waste to get the actual build numbers, but according to the manager who was out there, we were right around 375 compacted yards, which is pretty normal. I think normally we do, I think last fall we did 400, but we hadn't had a spring cleanup day. And this time, there was just no break. There was no break in traffic at all. They were lined up at 5:30 in the morning, and it never stopped until noon. It was just nonstop. So thanks. It was successful. There's some things maybe for fall we need to look at trying to change up a little bit, but we can talk about that at a later date. I received an email from the health department. I've been talking with Nate Elgers. The health department's kind of looking for rural locations to hold vaccination clinic. I had told them that as far as inside the building, we can't do it Tuesday through Friday because we are opened and we just don't have the space. But now, according to this email, they're looking at more of doing drive-through clinics where clients, patients don't even have to get out of their vehicle. They just pull up, stick their arm out the window, they get a shot, they sit if they have to sit, and on their way they go. Some tentative dates, he gave me 3 tentative dates. I just wanted to, before I responded to this email, I just got it today, I wanted to get a little bit of input on your thoughts. We could easily, I think, run cars just like we do for cleanup day.
Right.
Circle out and around. I would contact Beta and let them know that we were running a clinic on this date. So rather than Beta entering over here, they can just do their business in this driveway. I think it's a good idea.
That is great.
Because a lot of people don't want to drive into town to the Haggerty Center.
Right.
Or don't have means to
This
get
way,
there.
They don't have any inconvenience, just put your
Yeah.
hands in the.
Yeah, I know Green Lake Township did it, and I know several of our employees utilized that one so much closer than driving into town. So if you guys are okay with it,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay.
That'd be good.
Okay. So I'll copy you all on an email, the correspondence, when we get a date set, and then we'll just get it announced on our webpage and Facebook page.
Okay.
Okay. The pitching cage out in the park has been installed. There's a few modifications the Little League's doing on it, but it will be opened for the public, for public use on May 17th. And it's really cool. If you haven't been out there to see it, it's really cool. One of the things the Little League has asked me to talk to the board about is the possibility of getting an electrical outlet installed in that area. There's not one. So with it being a batting and a pitching cage, right now they're bringing in a generator and plugging in the pitching machine, I guess, to the generator. An outlet would be a lot handier.
Yeah.
So something that I think we should
Yeah, especially.
look
since
into. They're investing so much time and energy and money and
Joanne Tuck's son-in-law is an electrician.
so if I get some prices.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Do you have any?
I just wanted to, let you know, we passed a motion last month on to amend the section 218 agreement. And so I contacted the guy at the state that I needed to, and after all this,
Report, Blair, Blair, Township, Bill, Cedar County, Unit 2031, to the intersection of Miller Road and County Road 633. Two vehicle PI, one truck into the field, the car flipped over into the ditch. One female trapped in the car, leg injuries, that's clear, 1850.
he gave me the number of somebody at the IRS to talk to, and come to find out they changed the law back in 1991. So board members and part-time employees, if they're not covered under a comparable retirement plan to Social Security, are covered under Social Security. So you'll be getting Social Security taken out of check again, and Medicare.
Yeah, that's crazy, because even I contacted them that one time, and they didn't say anything about the law changing.
Well, the guy that you contacted at the state does not write the laws. He's just the pass-through guy for getting the information. This lady that I talked to was actually at the IRS.
Yeah, so you think that guy would know a little something.
No, he came right out and told me I can't, he couldn't answer he said, I'm just the dude that gathers the information, so.
Any good night, very much information.
No.
Item 9, consent calendar. The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with in one board motion without discussion. Any member of the board may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such requests will automatically be respected.
I'd like to pull the water sewer report, if possible.
Anything else?
No, and the only reason I say that is because this is one of my biggest pet peeves. And me and Lisa are gonna become best friends here shortly, because I have to figure this out. If you look to see what Patrick gave us on the waters pumped is 11,463 gallons. If you look at what we billed out for, it's 5.5 million. And so this is telling me that for the month of April, we lost collection on we collected half of what we should have collected. So we collected 74,000. In actuality, 150,000 water was removed somehow, some way. I don't know. I need to understand this more on how these numbers work. So I just want to deep dive into it. I talked to Patrick. March water loss was 51%, and April water loss was 41%, is what he has. I just want to just be aware of that. This is unbelievable amount. And they're saying, what did they say, like 10 to 12% should be what?
I think 12 to 15%
Is that what they say?
is a normal
Yeah.
water
And
loss.
so we're way over that. So me and Lacey's gonna try to figure this out.
Well, that was the reason that when we did the leak detection, I wanted them to go through and do leak detection on the old curb stops from the original system, because the majority of them have never connected.
Mm-hmm.
And they can be leaking for God knows how long, and we don't find out until it comes bubbling up out of the ground, which with all of our sand, who knows how long that can take.
But we had a leak detection done.
But they didn't do the curb stops.
Oh, they didn't do the curb
No.
stops.
So.
No, they did just like the other one did, basically the hydrants and the mains. Remember when we did one not that long ago? not this most recent one through rural, but the one prior,
Yeah,
and they had just done the street.
yeah, and then it blew up like a week
Yeah.
later.
What, the very next day, they just finished on that street, and then the road commission called me because the road was buckling. Sure enough, a
And they
curb
didn't
stop that
detect
hadn't, in Lee, that hadn't been connected, had been leaking for so long that it buckled the asphalt.
How many of those are there?
Oh, Lord only knows, Dennis.
Okay.
All of the old subject, like all the Village of Blackwood, Old Maple, you know, all of the John Vance, the original system put in 98, they don't have to connect unless it's new construction or their well fails. Well,
Wow.
and a lot of them aren't gonna, I mean, look at the PFAS connections, they still, some of those didn't even wanna connect when it wasn't gonna cost them anything. They just don't wanna connect.
Right.
So maybe our next step, we should contact, because it's one of the benefits we receive with being part of rural water.
Mhm.
And I think that we did that leak check 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2.5 years ago. We've been a year and almost a year and a half in COVID, so.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and not the mains and the hydrants, because, but I have a feeling that a lot of it is at the old curb stops. And the consumption that shows on my report is not the same as the consumption that's kicked out on the bill page.
Mhm.
Why, I don't know.
And that's another one, I mean, I like to dive into that, even if it takes BSNA coming here and explaining it, you know?
Right, as to why,
Right,
It should
Yeah.
be.
right. And that, to figure out how truckers getting his numbers, how BSNA is spitting out their numbers, and why our numbers are so far away. And are we losing $75,000 a month on water?
Mhm.
And that's a huge loss.
Mhm.
That's all I have.
But I appreciate you spearheading that.
Yeah. Well, it drives me nuts every month, and I just,
Okay. Unfinished old business.
We have
Oh,
to,
yep.
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the removal of the water department report.
I don't think we wanna remove it. We're not,
Put it aside,
I mean, it needs to be approved.
set aside.
No.
Just approve it.
When you,
What do you do with it?
when you remove something from the consent calendar, you're removing it to discuss because you're not discussing anything else. But it still gets approved as part of the consent
So-
calendar.
Yeah, a lot of times people will move it to the end of the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
would
just
make a
always
motion
discuss
to-
it right away, just.
Okay. I would just make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve the consent calendar. You want roll call?
I don't, you?
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unfinished old business. Did you guys see, I had in the table, the Vance Road settlement agreement. Remember, we pulled it off the agenda last month because the people hadn't asked for a monetary amount. So their monetary amount is $950. I sent that to Carrie, the township attorney, for her review and her input, and asked for her to draw up a settlement agreement. Do you guys see that?
yeah, I'm gonna make a motion to,
No, mine.
Any questions on it? Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the settlement agreement and mutual release of claims between Blair Township and Joshua Send and Annette Send for $950.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the settlement agreement and mutual release of claims between Blair Township and Joshua and Annette Send for the amount of $950. Any discussion?
Is that, I'm sorry, did Dennis?
Yeah.
Work?
Roll call?
Longshine,
Yes.
Fleece,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes.
I'll email them that tomorrow and
Okay.
we'll be done with that.
Do we, Lynette, don't we need a W-9 form filled out? By now?
I don't know. I'll look into it.
I think we will need, I can get that to you in the morning. I
Okay.
just have to fill it, cause it's over $600.
I don't know what that has to do with it.
What, well, you don't have to have it if it's under 600.
That's for a 1099, isn't it?
Let's just look into it tomorrow.
Right, but you're gonna 1099 them at year end.
For an
No,
invoice?
I don't think so. They're not, they didn't provide us a service and that's why
Yeah,
we're
just
paying them.
reimbursing them for their invoice. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Rate increase for our maintenance position. So we ran the ad for the part-time park person, nobody applied. Our maintenance person, we had 2 qualified applicants, but the hourly rate is just too low. So I'm asking to increase the maintenance position from $20 an hour to $23.20 an hour.
Roughly how much would that be per year salary?
48,256, roughly.
And then you were the benefits and all that,
Mm-hmm.
insurance, pension.
Kind of a handy guy.
Yeah, right.
Right? I know, me too.
That's
So I
a lot
need
of
hours
paper
of 10 to
trucks,
2.
Sign me up.
I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
Do you want a motion?
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise we're not gonna get.
Do you want to make
I
a
would make a
motion?
motion to increase the hourly rate for a maintenance position to $23.20 an hour.
Support. Discussion? It's been moved and supported to increase the maintenance position to $23.20 an hour. Roll call?
Fleece,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes,
Campbell,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes. Longshine,
Yes. New business. Public hearings. We're gonna close our regular meeting at 6:28 and open up our public hearing. Our first one will be for special use case SUSPR 210401. The applicant, Action Motorsports, is requesting a special use site plan review to establish a 6-building storage facility for boat marine vehicles on vacant property located at Nimrod Road, Traverse City, 49685, parcel number 2802-016-017-30. This is east off M37 South. The appropriate mailers were sent out, appropriate notification was placed in the record eagle. And our public hearing is open. Is there anybody here who? I'm just gonna leave it open for a minute. Is there anybody on Zoom?
just That's me.
Lisa, do you have anything to say on this one?
I'm sorry, what time did you?
6:28.
It's going directly next to, the one that they did prior with the 5 storage buildings. This one I think they're gonna go up a little bit slower because of the cost of building materials, but it's exactly the same thing. Nice thing is that it's off Nimrod, it's kind of off the beaten path, you don't really see it, that while driving down the highway.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna close the public hearing. 6:30.
I would make a motion to approve special use case 210401 Action Water Sports as it meets the standards for approval in section 2204 of Blair Township zoning ordinance and was recommended for approval by Planning Commission.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve special use case SU SPR 210401 for Action Water Sports. As it meets standard of approval, 2204. It's been recommended and approved by Blair Township Planning Commission. Discussion? Roll call?
Campbell,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick has to abstain. Wolfgang, yes. Please,
Yes.
and Blanchard.
Yes. Public hearing. I'm gonna open the public hearing regarding the proposed text amendment to the Blair Township junk ordinance, amendment number 118-05-21-01 at 6:32. Yeah, it's in your, where's your other one? The packet you just had.
Oh,
The
this
first
one?
one, it's in there.
Oh.
Lisa, do you have anything?
This was actually recommended by the magistrate, and it was copied from other township ordinance. Just setting up and establishing the fines so that they are increasing with each violation. Like we have some out there that have got 5 violations in the last 12 months and haven't bothered to clean up anything, so they're clearly okay with the $200, so we needed to step up our game a little bit.
I think the magistrate's really looking for consistency throughout all of the townships with the same fines. And I know this is Garfield's.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna close the public hearing at 6:34.
I'll make a motion to approve the Blair Township junk ordinance amendment 118-05-21-01
It's recommended by
Was-
the planning commission.
as recommended by the planning commission.
Was that you, Carl?
Yes.
Any further discussion? Roll call?
Blanchard,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
please,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
I abstain.
Wolfgang, yes.
Item C. Public hearing regarding proposed text amendments to the Blair Township zoning ordinance. Amendment number 104-05-21-01 to amend sections 10.06, 16.04, 23.04, and 2.02. And it is 6:35. These amendments are regarding the use and standards for area bulk requirements, fences, non-conforming structures, and short-term rental definition. Okay, I'm gonna close public hearing at 6:36.
Lisa, anything on this one?
This is mostly just to clean up some items in the ordinance that came to light, some that have been bugging me for a very long time, and there'll be plenty more, but not until after the
Building
summer fun
season.
is done.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry.
16.04C, it says, fences shall not contain barbed wire, electric current, or charge of electricity except when used as part of a farm operation or essential services. And I'm wondering what consists essential services, and if that is in the definitions?
Yeah.
Is it in the
Essential
definitions?
services. Yeah, that came to head when DTE came
Utilities.
before us and had to come before us for a variance to put barbed wire on there, which is silly that it wasn't in there before, because when they took down their fence to install new stuff, it had barbed wire on it. We have barbed wire around our
We have
water
barbed wire
plants.
around our
Mhm.
stuff, our water
Yeah,
stuff, so.
I just wondered if essential services was in the definitions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I will make a motion to approve the Blair Township zoning ordinance amendment 104-05-21-01 to amend sections 10.6, 16.04, 23.04, and 2.02 as recommended by the planning commission.
I'll support that.
Can you just add in there the amendments regarding?
Amendments regarding the use and standards for bulk, area bulk requirements, fences, non-conforming structures, and short-term rental definitions.
You still support that, Norm?
I support it, so
Okay.
yeah.
It's been moved and supported to approve the Blair Township text amendment to the zoning ordinance amendment 104-05-21-01 to amend sections 10.06, 16.04, 23.04, 2.02, amendments regarding the use and standards for area bulk requirements, fences, non-conforming structures, and short-term rental definitions as recommended by the Blair Township Planning Commission. Discussion? Roll call?
Fitzpatrick,
Abstain.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Blonchine,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes, and Fleece.
Yes.
Item B, public hearing regarding the 2021-2022 proposed budget.
And there are, just for the public, there are copies of the budget on the table over there.
I'm gonna open up the public hearing at 6:39. Nobody on Zoom?
No.
Oh, I guess I should say this is the 2021-2022 fiscal year general fund for .7967 mills levied. Close the public hearing at 6:40. We're gonna do all of these individuals, so we're gonna need a motion and.
No.
No, we're gonna do them all together?
We won't
Oh, we're
actually adopt
gonna
it till
adopt
next
it
month.
next month, okay. You ready for the time? 6:41. Opening up the public hearing for the 2021-2022 fiscal year ambulance fund for 1.4489 mills levied. $60 seconds is a long time. Closing it at 6:42.
You can't do it all at once.
Opening up public hearing for the 2021-2022 fiscal year fire and police fund for 2.50 mills levied. And close it. Public hearing at 6:43. Open up public hearing for 2021-2022 fiscal year liquor law fund.
Was that your thumb?
That's my knuckle.
Oh, jeez.
That's my trigger finger. Closing the public hearing at 6:44. Opening up the public hearing for the 2021-2022 fiscal year Silver Lake Milfoil Fund.
Are you guys running a stat on that? On the mill, or are you doing a millage?
It's a special
It's a
assessment.
special assessment.
How long are you running it for?
I think it's 5 years.
It gets pretty much, we have to go through the whole public hearing thing
Every year.
I was wondering, because we're looking at doing milfoil. Again,
Yeah.
there's different years we're looking at, and I'm curious what you guys did.
When they set up that original special assessment district for the lake, I was still on the lake and came to the public hearings, and it was a overwhelming majority of the lake owners were grateful. It doesn't cost a lot of money and it saves the lake.
You're doing a 5-year?
It's been going on now for 10, 15.
Do you do it 5 at a time or just continuously roll over?
5
It's-
at a time.
Okay.
We don't, I'm sorry, Nicole.
No, it's all right.
We don't do public hearings for the special assessment district every year, just for the budget. But every 5 years, we hold 2 public hearings.
Or to renew it?
Yes.
I was thinking 5 for us too, and you guys seem to get this.
I want to say that Garfield Township did something different the last time, so that they, and I honestly, I can't remember
I'm
what
there
they
with
did,
you.
but I could get with Chuck and ask him.
I'll talk to them.
Okay,
Which lake are you guys looking at?
Cedar Hedge.
Stock Lake, we're looking at renewing, Cedar Head, we're looking at a new one. And someone had mentioned a 10-year, like, no.
Well, I think myself, I don't know, this is just my opinion. Once you start,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna be able to stop.
But I like
It's
to
just
see-
gonna keep, I mean, if you do stop, then the problem's gonna come back.
I just don't like handing something that long on to another board if I'm not real.
But they don't, they send the biologists out there and inspect the lake. And if there's less needed, less application needed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do a good job at educating the public, because I was one who spent my summers pulling weeds, not knowing that spreads. All right, I'm gonna close the public hearing at 6:47. Open up the public hearing for the 2021-2022 fiscal year Metro Act Fund. I'm gonna close the public hearing at 6:48. Number 2, Michigan Power Plan, Paul Olson.
It's probably thinking, geez, finally.
Do I get a minute?
I do want to just say one thing, so the board members are aware. Paul had written this letter, and then I was looking at the vehicle, what do you call that?
Schedule.
Thank you. And they had the value for the new fire truck at $420,000, and I'm like, oh, that's not good, since we paid $625 for it. So I called Paul, and I got with Eric after I called Paul, but then Paul and I discussed it, and we came up with a more realistic number for a value for that. And so it did increase the premium on that a little bit. So that's why the price on,
Your actual price is gonna be
for the package. Right now, it's
It's
like-
29,251, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's including your group travel, which is 1836 for the board and
Okay.
employees. So basically, where's my numbers? Last year's premium, and as you recall, you decided, I think, to take cyber liability.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was $1,119. So last year's premium, beginning of the year, was $27,658. With we took off the truck. I think it was a Yukon last year, and
Yeah.
that was a credit back to you when I explained that in the first letter. And then what we did with the truck, just to explain this, it was on for $430,000. And when Lynette and I spoke about it, she said, well, it's worth $630 renewing, that would be the price for renewal, for cost new. And so I gave her a number on that. Then we spoke with Eric, and he said, don't you have that, like the 25% more the available limit after the loss? And I said, yes. So we came up with 530 as a number, and if you had a total loss, then we could, at time of loss, bill the board for physical damage to give you 25% more the available limit. So you could ultimately, I think, purchase, $125,000 at time of loss, which is much better than paying every year for that $630 when we have more than that, at time of loss with the endorsement that we have. So that would make everything $27,415 without the group travel. Okay, so it's just a little bit less than last year. Let's see. Does anyone have any questions or concerns? I'm seeing that we have maybe Eric, we have a claim on the truck, pumper tanker, and it's still open, and I'm wondering, is there?
Got that check today.
Okay, perfect. It was reserved for about 18,000. I don't know what the.
We got a check for 11,000.
11,000. So the
11,000.
reserve is just what they put in there. So, and that was done by CSI. Did that. So that was the only thing I had a question on it. I still saw it as open, but it is closed. I can go through some of these things, but I just wondered if anyone does have any questions or concerns, about the product, or any questions on liability, public officials wrongful act. We write an entire package for you. And if you don't, I can touch on a few things if you'd like me to. Basically, we're writing on the Michigan Township participating plan, $5 million of general liability coverage. We write that on a no aggregate basis, which means each and every time you may be litigated against in a summons complaint and it triggers coverage, we have up to $5 million to defend or pay damages. The defense costs will be outside that $5 million limit. The no aggregate just simply means each and every time you're sued, you have $5 million in place. There is no cap except the $5 million, but there is no cap on the amount of times that you can be litigated against. The public officials also, including in your general liability, it's important you have professional medical malpractice liability for your trained people from emergency first aid on up through paramedic, okay? So you always have that coverage in the product. Public officials wrongful act liability, we have what we've had in there a few years is the non-monetary damage coverage. What the non-monetary damage is really not a damage, okay? I don't know why they call it non-monetary damage. But sometimes when you, in zoning situations mainly, you may get sued by someone really, to look at it this way, for the sake of being sued. They're not really asking for a monetary damage, that's someone's complaint. They're asking for injunctive relief for you as a board to overturn your decision or opinion that you rendered. And if those type of litigations come in, we cover that for you up to $25,000 per occurrence. Most non-monetaries are not going to be that large, okay? But that's the coverage we have. So it's important if you get into that situation to give me, the copy of the summons complaint, because I have to get that down as soon as possible. Because many times your own attorney might be handling some of these things, and you don't even know you have that coverage. But you do have a coverage. It's $25,000 per occurrence, $50,000 in the policy year. And I probably had 3 or 4 in Grand Rapids County, that have utilized that coverage. So it's, when you're thinking of insurance, you're always thinking of a monetary damage, usually a trigger coverage on a summons and complaint. So this is just a little bit different, some added protection for you, and that is also included in there. Your Public officials also, really where we get into most litigation in this area is going to be civil rights violations. We have a lot of claims, and obviously all the personnel issues that could arise. We have, over the years, we have quite a bit of wrongful termination litigation in public entities. Been doing this 36 years, and I can tell you this, 25 years ago, nobody knew what wrongful termination was. Okay, we do now, and obviously that's protection that you have. A couple other things, we do take care of civil litigation. So, one of the larger claims that we pay out in Michigan would be any time that one of your vehicles moves out of the fire hall or an ambulance, because we lose governmental immunity as it relates to a public entity. So these are really where, if we really get into a severe accident, that's where we're gonna find a large limit, probably a large recovery. If indeed, the entity was at fault, and many times the entity might not be at fault. When someone's killed, we don't have the defense of governmental immunity to work with. I've had 2 fairly large ones in 35 years. It's not many. Most of the time, we don't get into those types of situations. When we do, that's another area that we cover you on. You also have people that are operating on your fire department, I'm sure in the EMS, they might be operating their own personal automobiles from time to time to and from fire hall, possibly coming to the fire hall on the scene. And if they would get in an accident and forbid it, injure someone, we are going to protect Blair Township and that individual. One thing that I like everyone to understand is, once again, we take care of civil litigation. So in some of these instances, when we're dealing with firemen driving a truck or a personal auto, there are sometimes where if it's a disaster, we'll get a criminal charge against that particular individual. Okay, the driver of the truck, the driver of his car. And once again, we take care of civil litigation. If this criminal accusation is asked for, all right, we're gonna still be there for the civil end of it if someone's been killed and they're looking for money. But obviously there might be a gap, I've had over the years a gap where we would not be covering that individual driver, okay, because it is criminal. They go through the criminal proceedings and we're back into civil, and then, we're paying a $2 million claim on behalf of the township and also, the individual that was driving. But what I'm saying, there could be criminal accusation against a firefighter or an EMS for their driving, and we would have to pull out of that. Not that we don't cover you in him, but just the criminal proceeding would be on that individual or the township if they wanted to pay for that particular criminal proceeding. I've only seen that, like I said, twice in 36 years, okay, for example. And what that means is they may go on probation, they may not be able to be on the fire department anymore, and then I've never seen anybody spend a second in jail for that, okay? But it's just something that I think you should be aware of. Inland marine coverage, we have all the autos. I'm pretty sure we're good with that. If there are any changes, you have that in there, just let me know, but I'm pretty sure we're fine with that. Under the inland marine schedule, we have 100,000 of ancillary fire equipment. This is where you pick up any of your fire equipment that may be damaged at a scene. Obviously, the radios now, I don't know if you have the more expensive radios, the 8 megahertz.
Those are through
800s. They're between 4,000 and 6,000, so it's not like, we're driving a $100 radio anymore. But those are all going to be picked up under the ancillary fire equipment, 100,000 each and every occurrence. We will go up to 25,000 on any one item. So any items that are over 25,000 besides the vehicles, we have the play structure out at the park here. We've been insuring that for approximately $160,000. I can tell you from my experience, you're never going to lose that all at once. I've had someone try to burn one up in Calcasta quite a few years ago, and many times you get vandalism. What I'm saying? Someone vandalized the piece of it, and those would be probably where we'll recoup on that. And then I have 2 heart monitors at 58,000. Is that still correct? 2 heart monitors with that. Should be 5.
Remember you and I talked about
Okay,
this?
but I have 58,000 scheduled for heart monitors.
They're 32,000 apiece.
And you have 5? Okay. couple different ways to do this, okay, if you want. I have departments that have 3 jobs of life, they're roughly 30,000. I guess what I'm saying, I mean, we lose them all at once.
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Chances of all 5 of them being wrapped in order in an accident all at one time or.
Impossible.
Yeah.
Probably. So, I mean.
Oh,
I
sure,
can-
say that. and jinx it.
I could bump that up a little bit if you like.
I think we talked about that.
Yeah. And I think, because it's each and every occurrence you have, so you could have it today, tomorrow, and you can still have that up to 58,000. I could put it up to 64, those are covered too. Probably be
If we're
that.
gonna have 2, we shouldn't be covering the cost of 2.
But yeah, so I think we'll just, I can bump that up for you to 64 hard monitors. And I don't really necessarily have to schedule 2 either, it's just, that's what originally I think we had. Property coverage we have included in there. Everything I believe looks good in that area. And then, as I said, the total power plant premium this year is $27,415, as opposed to $27,658. We did take vehicle off, but we did increase the value of the one vehicle. And are there any questions on me?
I just want to say thank you, Paul, because you do a great job, and I don't know what I'd do without you.
Well, thank you, I appreciate that. One good thing about me, I do it every day, so it gets pretty, when you have only public entities, I mean, honestly, it's not repetitive, it's always fun, but I'm only dealing with one product, I've been doing it a long time, so hopefully I try not to steer anybody wrong. I appreciate your business. Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Thank
you.
Good to see
Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
You need a motion to pay that?
No.
No.
It's in the consent calendar.
Okay.
Item 3, the proposed employee handbook. It was a good thing that we sent it to the township attorney.
Yeah.
Her input was appreciated, and it's a lot of good stuff that she suggested, but
I have a couple things that I have thought of afterwards too, and I would just, what I was hoping to do was have a clean copy for us to approve tonight, but with all of the, I wanted you guys to see
Carrie's
what
suggestions.
their, well, hers and Lindsay's, the employment attorneys. Because, yeah, and, what if you guys didn't agree with something? So I don't even know if we're all comfortable approving it tonight, but anyways, couple of things. Under personal time, this I thought of after the fact.
What page?
I don't know in this one
6.
because it doesn't go by the table of contents, because when you put comments in here,
Yeah.
it shrinks it.
So
it's page 7.
Page 7.
So when we reviewed this at budget time, we talked about, instead of the employees getting 6 days of personal leave at the beginning of January, we're gonna change it to where they accrue 2.5 hours per pay period. But, if we make this effective now and they start accumulating 2.5, they've already gotten their 6 days for this year. If they start accumulating 2.5 hours, they're gonna end up with some extra
Double.
personal time. So,
CARES Act.
what about CARES Act?
No, yeah, keep going.
So my recommendation would be to, start that sentence off, well, actually, it's not that sentence, it's the sentence that says personal leave accrues at 2.5 hours per pay period. Effective January 1st, 2022, personal leave accrues at 2.5 hours per pay period. What does everybody think
I
about that?
agree.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then this is just something I want everybody to be aware of that I didn't think about before either. We are proposing changing the vacation policy to pay out for unused vacation time. Right now, the way we budget for wages is what the employee makes for the year. So if somebody does not use their vacation time and gets a payout for it, that's gonna put us over that line item in the budget, which, you know, as long as that budget center isn't as a whole over budget, it's not a problem, but we may need to
Make the budget.
make it a budget amendment. I just wanted you to be aware of that. There was one other, I know there was at least one other thing about, so with personal time and vacation time, you have to be here 90 days before, or holiday pay. And I think it was Lauren that had our health insurance, the way the policy is written, it's effective upon date of hire. So that is one thing I'm not putting that in there that you have to be here 90 days because that's not the way the policy is written. But did everybody have a chance to look at what?
Yeah, before I forget, speaking of date of hire, where we had talked about the date of hiring being not when the board approves,
It's the first day you work.
That's the day they start
first
work.
day they report to work.
I do have okay, so on page 4, under equal employment opportunity and non-discrimination, Lindsay put in here, any employee who has concerns regarding any type of discrimination should contact the township supervisor, where she recommended inserting an alternate contact in the event the township supervisor is the subject of the report. I don't know who you guys would like to, I think we should have an alternate. Not that I think Nicole would discriminate. I think she did the same thing for the harassment policy maybe, but I do know,
I agree.
um,
Yes, there should be an alternate. There always
Yes.
should be an alternate. So should it be the board or?
well, I don't,
Yeah, probably
I don't
not,
think
because
that,
that's
they
So,
have to.
Let's make the clerk the alternate.
Support.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else?
I don't want to, personally, entertain a motion tonight to approve this. I think we all need, another month. We can approve it next month. That gives us time
When-
to.
So, is this what I'm hearing? You want me to go make the changes and put a clean copy
Correct.
in the next board packet?
Yes.
Could the
Yes.
fonts be a little bigger, or do they have to be that size?
Oh, no, it will be
it'll
bigger.
This is Carrie's.
It just shrunk it
Okay.
because she put the comments in it.
Off to the side, so. Yeah. Everybody good with that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, Code of Ethics and Conduct. Everybody get a chance to review this one? I really like this policy.
Yeah.
Mhm. That was very good.
And I'm definitely willing and ready to entertain a motion on this one.
I would move to approve the Blair Township Code of Ethics and Conduct for elected officials and members of appointed boards, commissions, and committees as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the Blair Township Code of Ethics and Conduct for elected officials and members of appointed boards, commissions, and committees. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Longshine,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes. Campbell,
Yes.
Fleece,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
and Kuchera.
Yes.
Item 5, policies 2021-01 through 2021-21.
I hope you guys read, my note on here,
Mm-hmm.
the changes, the changes to the credit card policy were pretty minimal.
Minor.
I mean, and to the post audit policy, but I just wanted you to know about the changes because we didn't discuss them when we were discussing these policies at budget time. And I do have some questions on the new invoice approval process policy.
Which is 21, the last one.
So it says invoices are typically received directly by department head personnel, which is not true. Invoices that come in the mail, I get. Sometimes, like if somebody orders something with the credit card, they'll get an invoice emailed to them. But I would say I get
The direct billing.
90% of the invoices.
You should actually get all of them, shouldn't you?
Well, eventually, yes. But this says, if it's received in the clerk's office, it will be sent up to the appropriate department head to begin the payment process. Like for town hall and grounds, there's really not a department head. And I had a list of different ones. And bear with me because I'm struggling tonight. Like Bellinger's, when they come and pump the outhouses.
I would say Nicole should sign off on all those. it's always been in my schooling and practice that the AP person never signs off on a bill. They only pay it, so that's a conflict of interest when you're paying something and signing off on it, unless it's your department that you're approving. But all other departments, I think Nicole should approve. Like the grounds and the township and. And that covers you, I mean,
Yes.
So we need to tweak this. Where you're saying invoices are typically received directly by department head personnel, so if we can change some wording.
Just or the supervisor. You did it to me, and now I'm doing it to you.
well, they're typically received by the clerk's office, right?
Right,
And distributed.
yeah.
So typically received by the clerk's office.
If the invoice is initially received.
So
When-
when the invoice is initially received in the clerk's office, it will be sent to the appropriate department head.
Yep.
Now, and this is another issue I have. So the credit card policy says that all charges are to be paid every month. So if there is something, if we do not pay the total bill, we're gonna get a finance charge.
Yeah, we don't want that.
So I guess people are gonna have to be very aware of this because
We do not want
I
finance
can't,
charges because a product doesn't come in and the invoice, the credit card bill doesn't get paid. We don't want that monthly finance charge for that. It doesn't happen very often. It has happened. It was caught. So it doesn't happen very often. But that's the one part of this that I didn't like, where it says if they have not received, the invoice should be held until they are received. Some products gonna take 6, 8, 12 weeks.
Yeah, but most of the time they don't bill you till they ship it.
well, apparently Amazon does.
Right.
No, Amazon doesn't.
I thought that was what,
No,
where
they
that
billed
money
us, right, but we never received it, so it was lost in
Shipping.
shipping. But no, Amazon does not bill out until they ship the product.
But they still bill when the product's shipped.
Right, but most of the time you're gonna get that within 5 days. And this is talking about regular invoices, this isn't talking about credit card.
but that's why this whole thing came about, I thought.
No, this part came about because something was being paid onto my budget center that I didn't order or need or have without my knowledge of it going to hit my budget center until I went to sign the check. That's what this invoice approval was for.
Okay,
because something was going to be paid that I didn't receive, need, or have.
Oh, that was for the computer program.
Right. And unaware there was even an invoice until I went to sign it and,
but with, but this still could, I mean, I have to have an invoice for the credit card bill, for everything on the credit card bill. Right?
well, this is, I think this is for paper invoices that are paid out of AP.
Credit card bill is paid out of it.
Right, but it's totally separate. I mean, you're looking at a credit card and we changed that to a timely thing. And this is for invoices such as the IT right invoice that got charged to my account or to my budget center. That if I would have had the invoice, if it was given to me to approve, it would have never went any further. The credit card is receipts that you receive. You pay the credit card out of AP, but the receipts you receive on there is covered under the credit card policy, not the invoice approval policy.
I don't see a difference, but I guess we'll see how this works and if we need to amend it because it's not working, then I'll amend it. I'll
So-
bring it to the board. But I think it needs to say somewhere in here that, all invoices that don't go to a specific department need to be approved by the township supervisor.
I
Right.
thought you forgot. All right, so let's tweak this a little bit, make that addition.
Yeah.
Cross out department head personnel or clerk's office, cross out if when. Clean it up, we'll bring it back and approve it
Yeah,
next month.
Okay.
I think the three of us can figure out the proper wording tomorrow. We can,
This doesn't sound real complicated.
Right.
It sounds pretty cut and dry.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that every month we need invoices to match the checks.
I know,
Right.
I was just thinking about something else, but yeah.
okay, let's move on. Bring it back.
Well, I would make a motion to approve policies number 2021-01 through 2021-20.
Support.
And revisit policy 2021. It's been moved and supported to approve policies 2021-01 through 2021-20. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Bonshine,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes, Fleece,
Yes.
and Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Item 6, resolution 2021-04 to adopt credit card policy.
The public act that allows this requires that the credit card policy be adopted by resolution. So that's why there's a resolution for this policy.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2021-04, the adoption of the credit card policy, Public Act 266 of 195.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Kuchera,
yes,
Fleece,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Bonshine,
Yes.
and Wolfgang, yes.
Number 7, resolution 2021-05, apply for funding from Michigan Township Participating Park Plan for security cameras. This is the first part of the grant process for the park plan, is they have board support via resolution. I would like to apply for grant dollars for added security surveillance cameras out in the park, specifically 2 of them. One for the batting cage, pitching area, and a second one on this side of the pavilion for the area where we're gonna be putting our fitness court.
I would move to adopt resolution 2021-05 to apply for funding from Michigan Township's participating plan for
Added security cameras.
added security cameras in the township park.
Maryland supported. It's been moved and supported to approve resolution 2021-05, the resolution for applying for funding for Michigan Township participating plan for added security cameras out in the township park. Roll call?
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Blondstein,
Yes.
Fleece,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes, and Kuchar.
Yes.
Item number 8 is resolution 2021-06, applying for funding for Michigan participating park plan. This specific resolution is for added security lighting out in the township park. I called Cherryland today. I'll be meeting with the engineer from Cherryland. This is their process. They have to come over, look at what we're looking at before they can give a price. But, you know, the grant period is just open for this month, so. This is another one I'll write and submit.
I'd make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-06 for applying for funding from the Michigan Township participating plan
For security lighting.
for security lighting.
Support. It's been moved and supported to approve resolution 2021-06, applying for funding for Michigan participating park plan for added security lighting in the township park. Roll call?
Fleece,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes, Campbell,
Yes.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Blondstein,
Yes.
and Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Item 9, general fund budget amendment. You see,
So we just need to amend the budget for the revenues that we did not originally budget for under donations. Just need to increase it by $7,000.
I make a motion to increase the donation revenue by $7,000 because of the $5,000 grant we received from the Center for Technology and Civic Life and the $2,000 grant we received for irrigation in the butterfly garden. Any further discussion? Roll call?
Campbell,
Yes.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Fleece, Wolfgang, yes, Blondstein,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Item 10, approval to proceed with the lockbox service with Chase Bank. Eric, do you have anything else to add to this, or you wanna?
I can give you another summary if you want.
Yeah.
Basically, in short, the lockbox services, a few of the larger bank offers, they receive and receipt any payments from insurance billing or individuals for the billing and EMS billing we'll be doing. They will scan explanation of benefits and make them available to us, and so we can check our books and apply it to our billing programs. There's 2 different options. The wholesale option, we believe we should start with. That's basically pay as you use. it's a little bit more expensive, but as we acquire the billing from Acumed, they're going to be sending over numerous accounts, and we're not really sure how much paperwork and we'll be receiving. And if you go over on the economy lockbacks, it's a very expensive charge. I think the 100 copies they'll provide with that cost, and then any copy over that is $1.50. So we're choosing to go with the wholesale lockbacks to begin with, so we get the billing situated from Acumed, and then we believe we can drop back to the economy lockbacks.
Yeah, and there's no penalty for that, right?
Correct. We can switch back and forth at any time.
Yep.
So we switch back to the economy and call volume increases at any point in time, we can switch back to the wholesale.
Did you get a price on what we have to have on there? How much we have to have in there?
That fluctuates because the interest that you make on the amount, we're talking about maintaining a minimum balance in the account, that the interest that you make on that fluctuates with the market. So there are some larger corporations that will keep $500,000 in that account because the interest that they make off that pays for the lockback services.
Right.
Right now with the interest rate so low, everybody's just keeping a very minimal amount of it.
So you don't have to have a 25,000, okay.
So you're putting in a half a
So your recommend is initially start off with option 2.
Correct, the wholesale lockback.
Anybody have any more questions?
I make a motion to proceed with the lockbox service with Chase Bank with the option wholesale.
I'll support. It's been moved and supported to approve to proceed with the lockbox service with Chase Bank, utilizing option 2, the wholesale. Is that what it's- Any further discussion? Roll call.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Lonsheim,
Yes.
Please,
Yes.
Yes.
Kuchera, and Wolfgang, yes.
Item 11, declare the MSA thermal imaging camera and charger as surplus. I can't believe there's no monetary value at all with that.
The last one I tried to sell those people,
Yeah.
I don't know, I tried to sell somebody those Coyote Hunting. And
Yeah.
they're like, they can get better cameras for cheaper through the hunting markets.
I remember we talked about this. Eric and I talked about, well, this item and the next item. Because legally we cannot donate stuff to anybody. But I said, if this item has no value, what harm is there?
We're not donating, I mean, yeah, it's 0.
So, I mean, maybe we just don't want to have that as part of the motion.
That's why I left it like it was.
Well, you know what, I was thinking that, I just don't know how to keep my mouth shut.
Riley, she thinks.
Nice all here. Now, would that thing work, like putting up against walls to show me that you don't have enough insulation in there? Thermal engine where you show red hot spot? No, okay.
Only if there was a heat source.
If it was warm.
inside the wall.
Okay.
So we need a motion to declare it as surplus.
I move to declare the MSA thermal imaging camera and charger as surplus,
Support.
as it has no and I don't know. I wanna say how we're gonna dispose of it.
I'll give you $1 for it.
I'll pay an hour for it.
It's
You got two right there.
It's not me. I'm just trying
Can I
to,
ask you a question?
yeah?
When you dispose of this, I mean, is there other things declared surplus where you,
They have no monetary value and.
And
They sit on the
usually they
floor.
get pitched.
Yeah.
You tell me what dumpster they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
All right, so to declare the MSA thermal imaging camera and charger as surplus
Period.
and dispose of as it has no monetary value.
Support.
It's been moved and supported to declare the MSA gas monitor as surplus as it,
No, the imaging camera
imaging camera as surplus
and
and
dispose of.
dispose of as it has no monetary value. Roll call.
Really?
No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I forgot to say that I was,
Declare the RKI
Not-
Eagle.
I was in
Yeah,
favor.
we need to declare the RKI Eagle 4 gas monitor as surplus.
I'll support.
This also has no monetary value. Is that your
What
motion?
did I do?
I'd make a motion to declare RK, is it one or I? For
Aye.
RKI Eagle 4 gas monitor as surplus, for it has no
And
value
disposal.
in disposal.
I support. Been moved and supported to declare the RKI Eagle 4 gas monitor as surplus as it has no monetary value and dispose of. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item 13, Treasurer's Office Budget Amendment.
Okay, I just need to move, a couple things because the first one, the BSA Special Assessment Annual Service through my, other services over. So I need to credit 101-253-800.000 other services for 500 and debit 101-253-960.000 my education because I'm not using any of my education budget this year.
I'll make a motion to credit 101-253-800-000 other services for $500 and debit 101-253-96-000 education.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Kuchera,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes. Bonchine,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
and Campbell.
Yes. And then the second one was the 2 computers that the treasurer's office received. And I had planned on doing this and I should have did it last month. And I'm crediting 101-253-740.000 supplies for 2,000 and taking that from the education again. And there's plenty in there to cover both of these expenses.
I make the motion to credit 101-253-740.000 supplies of $2,000 and debit 101-253-960.000 the education fund to cover the cost of the 2 computers for the treasurer's office.
Support.
Roll call.
Campbell,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes. Fleece,
Yes.
Kuchera,
Yes.
Bonshine,
Yes.
and Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Item 14. This is did you guys get a chance to read this letter? Mr. Jeffrey Campbell, it's our township residents that live on Mill Road. I believe they've been in our township for 11 years. They've always paid their taxes on time. They've never been late. This was a weird thing that happened to them. The bank backs up their story. They authorized the bank to send the check to pay their taxes. The bank guarantees, I don't know how they can do this. Well, it didn't work, but they guaranteed delivery by the due date, by the tax due date. And it took the mail 2 weeks to get the check to us. So it came in after the tax deadline, even though this family was assured that it would be here. So their taxes got rolled over to the county, which happens, and they had, I think it was like $55,
$51.98.
$51.98.
The thing is with this, I just want to add to this because
Yes.
we have dealt with this, his wife, she is going to sue us, she's going to sue Heidi, she's going to sue everybody for the principal. But the thing is Jake did his due diligence. When we received that check on the 25th, he sent them a copy of the receipt with a little sticky note on it that said, this is your balance due. If they would have contacted us at that moment when they received that, we could have cleared this up. Now, because they didn't, and she said they didn't because it was very unprofessional of him just to put a sticky note on it, which to me that he went above and beyond. He didn't even have to do that much. But he went above and beyond, sent them a reminder note that, hey, we got this on the 25th. She got that letter on the 26th, threw it away because she said we were too unprofessional here. So Jake has been on the phone between several times with this lady, with Heidi, a couple others down at the county, and the bank. Now, if the board approves us to pay it, we have to pay Heidi the $51.98 because of the way the taxes are split up. It doesn't just go to penalty and interest, it's even split across all of the entities. Jake's talked to their bank, and if we don't pay it and Mr. and Mrs. Campbell have to pay it, the bank reimburses them the $51.98 because they guarantee that we would receive it by the 16th, which we didn't. If it wasn't for that Jacob sent out the receipt and her telling us that it was unprofessional, and so she just threw it away until she got the letter from Heidi, that's when she decided that we needed to then pay for it, which, they say the delivery service, which is out of my control. Well, it's out of our control. I mean, the post office is out of our control. They have more control over it because they could have paid it 2 weeks ahead or 2 months ahead, not wait till the week before and that, but their bank's guaranteeing it. So if we say no, Jacob has to call the bank tomorrow and the bank is going to reimburse Mr. and Mrs. Campbell for the money, but they won't reimburse us for it. But for $51, I am tired of this whole thing because we've dealt with this for 2 weeks.
I would say that the bank it is up to the bank to pay the coverage. That's who guaranteed the delivery. The delivery wasn't here. They said it would be, so they're responsible.
But what Tracy's saying
Right.
is that they're gonna pay the Campbells, not
Right.
us, and somebody's gotta pay the county, right?
Right. So if we pay the county, we don't get reimbursed, we're just out the $51. If they pay the county, they'll get reimbursed their $51 from Fidelity Bank, which is their bank.
Well, then that's what they should do.
I thought,
And I
Yeah.
talked to Heidi about this, and she said, take it to the board, let the board make the decision, and then go from there. It doesn't matter to her, that she's getting the money either way.
they could have come in and paid it, they could have paid it online.
I mean,
Right, but they went a couple weeks ahead of time to
A
their,
week.
their bank, and their bank assured them the payment would be
Right,
there.
but that's not,
I know it's not us, but I think it's not so much the $51. I think what these residents want is to not have that mark that their taxes were delinquent.
Well, it doesn't matter, either way it's going
I mean, I
to.
know that that's through the county.
Right, we're not gonna get that off there now. If they would've contacted us when they received that receipt, it would've never went to the county. We would've taken care of it right then and there. And, you know, they could've said, this is the deal, and, I mean, Jake's very good at working with people and that, I mean,
and just by the way, whatever the board decides, this is just my opinion. I think, Tracy maybe should say something that I can put in the minutes that are no relation to.
yes, right, they're no relation to me. Yes,
oh, yes, same thing.
I do not know this couple at all. And I agree, I think it's back on the bank promised them. You know, we got it a week later, it took 2 weeks instead of a week to get here. We can't control that.
It was sent regular mail, not
Well,
already,
it's,
not next
right,
day.
it's really weird because it's sent by, it doesn't even have a postmark on the envelope
Hmm.
because of the way the bill pay works. So when we talk to other townships to ask them, Jake did a lot of research on this to try to figure it all out and that, because I didn't know you could post date a check. The check said February 16th on it. I didn't know you could post date a check, but apparently you can. But like Garfield said, they do postmark, but because of there not being a postmark on a bill pay out of the bank, it's whatever day they receive it. So they don't make any exceptions on bill pays. And it was a very learning moment. I mean, we learned a lot.
Well, since the bank will reimburse them, they aren't going to be out anything. So they could pay the bank and get their money, pay the county and get their money back. And do that.
And we can't remove the delinquency.
No, and neither can the county. I mean, no, it's on there now. So regardless, all it's going to do is show it's been paid.
It will show delinquent no matter what.
But it's been paid, yeah. Because it went to the county and everything is done and
It'll show it
finalized.
was paid late.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not black market,
Not at the end of the world.
is it?
no,
And was this paid to the bank from Fidelity Investments, or was that who? Because that's an investment firm, it sounds like not a bank.
well, they also do banking.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, the check came out of Chicago, so who would have thought it would take 2 weeks to get up here from Chicago? I will make a motion, that the treasurer will contact Mr. and Mrs. Campbell to let them know that the board has declined on paying the delinquency due and will refer them to their bank to have their bank pay the remaining balance.
I support that. Did you get all that?
I think so.
Now, is that gonna be a telephone call also followed up with a letter? Or just a?
I can do that as
It's-
well.
It's been moved and supported.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So can I just repeat it
Yes.
the way?
Please.
To have the treasurer contact the Campbells and let them know that the board has declined paying the delinquency due and refer them to their bank.
And Jake also has to call their bank tomorrow to let them know what the board decided so they know what their step is.
But was that correct?
Yes, that was correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, Jake has a
And
representative
who supported
Maryland.
Maryland, at the bank that he will call, and they just told him to follow up with them, and that way they know if they're paying it or not.
Any further discussion? No. Roll call.
Campbell,
Yes.
Blonshine,
I'm gonna say no, with a reason. Because I think, I don't know, they made every effort. I mean, they were assured payment, so delinquency on their record is a black mark, or a red mark.
Yeah, but it doesn't go anywhere.
And I know we can't decide, that it's up to the county to decide, is what Heidi said, right? I mean.
no.
What do you mean, decide? Everything has been,
We're just making a recommendation for Heidi.
no, we're making a recommendation if Blair Township pays the bill or not. Regardless, we're not gonna be able to take that off because everything's been
I know.
totaled out for
we
the
can't.
year. Right, Andy?
Once you send it to the county, your township records will always show that being delinquent, you cannot change that.
I know for the township, but I didn't know if Heidi could.
No, because she's gotta
No.
pay these entities. So she's gotta show it coming in and going out.
Okay, but the bank assured that they would pay
Mhm.
them. Okay,
Yes.
okay, so yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Fleece,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes, and Kuchar.
Yes.
Item 15, resolution 2021-07 to adopt and allocate funds for the outdoor fitness court as part of the 2021 National Fitness Campaign.
I would make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-07, resolution to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2021 National Fitness Campaign.
Support,
It's been moved and supported to adopt resolution 2021-07 to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2021 National Fitness Campaign. Roll call?
Fleece,
Yes.
Kuchar,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Blonshine,
Yes.
Wolfgang, yes, Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Number 12, extended public input.
Okay, I just have one thing to say. Believe it or not, I have something to say. Going through Eric's emergency services update report this month. And as he says, employees are an awesome group of dedicated professional people who care about community. And just reading on, and I know, because they have to bring the cookies into my office to find out where they drop them off at. So I know there's a lot of snacks and cookies and very thankful people out there. And So to go along with this, I just want to let people know that next week is EMS Appreciation Week. And even though we're not going to do the meals and stuff because of COVID still, Nicole has bought some gifts for them and that, and I do have Carl's and my money in my office for you. So we are going to give them a little something in appreciation for what they do with the, I ordered a thing to put around a candy bar that says thank you and stuff and that. So we are going to show them our appreciation and that. So if anybody wants to donate to Nicole's cause, she paid for it.
Thank you. No,
You did give my.
Yeah, I have your,
Yeah.
Any other public input? Adjournment. It is 7:55.